Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm the internet's busiest wrestling melon, Andy Murray from WhatCulture.
And coming up today, huge news about WWE's upcoming draft.
Sasha Banks has signed a new WWE contract and we've got the scoop.
And the reason why NXT's first couple of shows on TV will only be 1 hour. This is the news.
Well, first off, we are going to start with the real reason Shane McMahon has been missing from WWE television for the past 2 weeks.
Oh, is it because he's crap?
It's because they're keeping him off TV for 2 weeks so that when he comes back and wins King of the Ring, it's a big surprise.
Please tell me that's not the real reason.
That's not the real reason at all.
But it is going to happen still.
It is. Shane's been off TV, obviously. Dave Meltzer had reported that it was because WWE Creative had nothing for him.
Bollocks.
Which seems a bit bollocks because he's the boss's son. Apparently Vince had simply forgotten about scripting material for him, given that Vince has been doing SmackDown lately. Well, apparently this is not the case, according to Twitter user Matt Fish, good name, whose friend ran into the best in the world at a courtroom doing jury duty. So his friend's called William Chan. There's a series of tweets here. He's even got a photo with Shane at the courthouse proving that Shane's been doing jury duty. That's why he's not been there. Like any other citizen of the United States of America, he has to do jury duty when he's called upon. So yeah, no Shane McMahon, no best in the world. I mean, it's kind of left his storyline with Kevin Owens dangling in the wind a little bit, but you know, interesting.
Is he the best jury in the world? Juror.
Best juror in the world.
Yeah.
As he is up there for sure.
Yeah.
I remember that time, there's this crazy story a few years ago about Bray Wyatt getting called to do jury duty and turning up in full gear. So I'm not sure I can call Shane McMahon the best in the world when Bray has that level of commitment, but I love the idea of him sitting there with his little lamp going, follow the button.
Yeah, there's a joke in there somewhere. It's far too early on a Monday morning for us to get that. But that's interesting. I mean, yeah, it has felt weird that they just sort of haven't done anything. I think Kevin Owens was off SmackDown this week anyway because he was doing something, he's helping his family out with Hurricane or something like that. Which means it's fine. And I'm kind of glad it's sort of gone away so it can come back because they're basically just spinning the wheels until Hell in a Cell, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah. More jury duty for people like Shane McMahon, please, because it's been good this past few weeks.
It's been nice,
on SmackDown. Yeah, more of that, please.
Yeah.
But that does make a lot of sense.
It does.
Yeah. Right, let's move on and talk about the WWE Draft. Of course, it's going to be taking place on the second episode of SmackDown when they move to Fox in early October. And per the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Fox are going to be presenting that WWE Draft as a, quote, legitimate sports draft. And the draft on SmackDown will present it well, like it's not like the B show anymore. They're basically going to make SmackDown an equal to Monday Night Raw, which makes a lot of sense because they want a lot more eyes on that product for that big money TV deal. Exciting for this draft, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty interesting to hear that, given we've heard reports in the past that Fox wanted SmackDown to take more of a legitimate sport feel when it moves to Friday nights. This kind of ties in with that, and it goes up with AEW and their own real sport feel. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. It'll be interesting to see as well if this gets coverage across Fox's other channels and they build it up and they go, maybe they'll do a thing like they do in the NBA, which is the only American sport I follow. I assume they do this in other sports.
Yeah.
Where they have like mock drafts and projections and scouting reports and all that. That'd be really cool. I'd love to see that because it's different.
Yeah, I like that. You know, I'm a huge NFL fan myself, and when you see them, you know, picking players and stuff, it makes the players seem really important. Like, we really want this QB, or we really, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
If you do that as like, you know, SmackDown chooses to draft this person, whether they're a top star or a mid-carder, hopefully doing something like this rather than just being like a wacky, whoa, who's going to be, spin the big wheel, who's going to be on SmackDown, it'll make it feel a lot more legitimate.
Yeah, I hope so, and I hope it comes across well.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I love it. I like TV this October. It's going to be really interesting.
Wrestling's bloody brilliant, isn't it?
It's all right, isn't it? It's pretty good, yeah. Sasha Banks, she's signed a new WWE contract.
Oh.
This is according to friend of the channel, Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live. Doesn't know how long it's for, doesn't know like any of the other specifics, but she's inked a deal. She's going to be with WWE for the foreseeable future, and one can only presume that one of the promises of this was a better push upon returning after all the controversy, after seemingly trying to walk out after WrestleMania 35. Similar situation to the Good Brothers, who turned down a new deal, signed one that's supposedly very, very lucrative financially, got a little push out of the gates. That seems to have dissipated a little bit now, but they're still on TV, so that's good. You can only imagine that Sasha has negotiated all kinds of perks with this one.
Good for her, yeah. I mean, she's just lit a fire under that women's division, hasn't she, since she came back? And I'm excited to see where she goes from here. And with all the bollocks that we've seen throughout this year, it's nice to just it all to be settled down and it be like, right, you're great at wrestling, let's just get you back wrestling as soon as possible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Good to see her back in action. Good to see her doing well. And yeah, you know, hopefully they looked after her on the old bank account side as well.
Should she win the title on Sunday?
Absolutely.
I reckon she might, you know. Right, let's move on and talk about NXT because Brian Alvarez, friend of the channel, has been reporting in the Wrestling Observer the reason why NXT is only going to be 1 hour for the first couple of shows they have on the USA network, of course, going up against AEW. And the reason for that is because of the show that I've just started watching and now lost half my weekend to, Suits, is going to be on the network too. So they're sort of kind of limited in what they can do. So the first hour is going to be on the USA network, the second hour will be on the WWE network, which sort of accidentally works them a little bit in terms of like if you get people hooked and you go, you want to see the second hour? Subscribe to the WWE network. But anyway, the reason for this is not because of some clever tease like that, but because WWE are a bloody shambles, basically. Apparently, reports are saying that the deal was done so quickly that USA have got a, commitment, got to finish airing another program before NXT could get a full-time slot. So this can kind of be attributed to the fact that WWE went, oh, bollocks, AEW are coming. Let's get a TV deal for NXT. So, yeah, Suits is going to be on for the second hour of NXT. That's going to make for a kind of swift change. But yeah, this isn't some sort of clever marketing ploy. It's just WWE being WWE.
Kind of speaks to their desperation to compete with AEW, really. Let's get this thing on the network, on the USA network, as soon as we possibly can, even if we can't get the full hour. It's mad, but kind of fun as well. I love this chaos, honestly.
I wonder how many people are just going to watch the first hour of NXT and be like, well, NXT's an hour, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. It's done.
Oh, they were in the middle of the match. They went to a break, and now Suits is on. Oh, that was a weird ending.
Yeah, something strange has happened here.
Love Suits, by the way. Oh.
Never seen an episode.
Oh, you need to check it out, mate. I started watching it about a week ago, and I'm deep in there. I'm losing days.
Oh well,
good stuff. Meghan Markle's in it.
Meghan Markle?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Prince of England. Princess of England.
Yeah.
Queen. Whatever. Anyway, shall we move on?
And talk about our Twitter questions today. At WhatCulture WWE, if you want to get in touch, of course. We start with a question from Vince McMahon, who says, when we're talking about announcer changes when it comes to the WWE Draft, Cole to SmackDown, since that's going to be the flagship show, Joseph and McGuinness to Raw, Graves on SmackDown only, and can someone get Saxton out of there? Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm generally in favour of those lineups, but I kind of disagree, actually. I think with Byron Saxton, I think he's improved quite a lot lately, like over the past year or so. Certainly when he's commentating like New Day and Kofi Kingston matches, he gets proper into it. I've grown to like Byron Saxton, so I disagree with that, but I like the rest, and I'm in favour of Renee Young focusing on more of a studio role as well.
Please just make it a two-man booth.
Yeah, that'd be
like Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness, and whether it be on Raw or SmackDown, would be phenomenal in my opinion. And yeah, Corey Graves and Michael Cole together, or whatever. I just think it's a bit weird having Corey on both shows if you're going to make them distinct entities. And yeah, just I hate the three-man booth. Three-person booth, I should probably call it. Lee Davis gives us our second question of the day, saying, what do you think of Stone Cold Steve Austin being the special enforcer? Or do you reckon they'll make him the special guest referee too? I assume, obviously, he's talking about the contract signing we're going to see tonight on Monday Night Raw with Stone Cold, which we will be previewing on our Raw preview a little bit later on today. But yeah, potentially they could make him, he's saying there, the special guest referee or special guest enforcer at Clash of Champions this coming weekend. Yeah, no, I'd be more in favour of the enforcer role because it's just a bit more badass, isn't it? He can get his hands dirty. Not that he can't do that if he's a referee, but it just sounds better. Yeah, I'd be up for that. I'd be up for him giving a stunner to some dweeb who tries to interfere or whatever. Yeah, good. I like it. Good stuff, yeah. I think it's going to draw more eyes to the product, and it's not hopefully going to take away too much from Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman, which on paper should be a really good match. Yeah. Especially with all the nonsense around them being tag team champions at the same time. Leah J gives us our final question today, saying, is Impact Wrestling a complete lost cause, or is there still hope for them to be put back in the conversation with WWE, AEW and New Japan? And concludes by saying, I mean, they don't even get an ups and downs. Yeah, when Simon Miller doesn't grace you with ups and downs, you know you're in trouble. Well, the reason it doesn't get an ups and downs and it doesn't get much coverage from us and it doesn't get much coverage on our website is because nobody clicks on the stuff. The Slammiversary one did quite well, but it's one event a year. It's a special thing. And that's their big one. Yeah, it's one of their big ones. It's like,
That's why, because not a lot of people, unfortunately, are interested. If I guarantee, if I was to sit, like there is an ups and downs article on the website that Adam Morrison does, but if we were to sit here and do Impact News, every single day, it wouldn't get enough clicks. It'd be operating at a loss, and that sums up Impact Wrestling in general. The product is very good. They have a lot of great wrestlers. Tessa Blanchard, I think, is one of the top 5 women's wrestlers in the world. Maybe a top 10 wrestler, regardless of gender in the world. Anywhere, she's brilliant. There's lots of other really cool guys as well, and Sami Callihan.
I knew that was coming.
It's an extremely talented roster. I love Don Callis. I love what him and Scott D'Amore have done with the product. It's a good show. It makes sense every week, but they've got no buzz. They're airing to 15,000 people a week on Pursuit and something similar on Twitch every week. No one is paying attention, and I think, sadly, TNA has screwed Impact Wrestling to the point where they will never be part of the conversation.
Yeah,
again.
I can't help but feel like that's true. I think they're always going to be one of the lesser promotions now. That they had their chance. They made every wrong decision they possibly could.
Just about, yeah.
They had some great highlights at the same time. I'm not saying it was all bad. I mean, they obviously had some phenomenal wrestlers coming out there and some phenomenal matches, which are well worth going back checking out. But I just think now, with the money behind AEW and WWE and just the feeling around New Japan, let alone any financial backing behind it, it's the big 3, isn't it? And certainly in terms of the Western audience, it's the big 2, and Impact are nowhere near.
It's a real shame because the guys who are currently there are putting their best foot forward, but it's just been poisoned by previous regimes, and I don't see a way back at all.
Yeah, it's arguably one of the best products that Impact's made in recent years.
It's really good.
The wrestling's always been the consistent thing. It's been the stuff around it, thanks Vince Russo, that has ruined it prior to this.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, it is sort of cursed a little bit now. And certainly if someone said to me, are you going to be watching the Impact show, even though you mentioned the talent that it's got on there, I'd probably go, nah, because I'm fairly convinced they'll do some sort of weird storyline. I realise I'm a bit of a hypocrite because WWE do that all the time, but at least, there's a light at the end of that tunnel.
And the thing is, they're probably going to make a really progressive and interesting move, and they're probably going to make Tessa Blanchard the world champion, right? That's going to be an awesome moment, and the tragedy of the whole thing is 15,000 people are going to see it.
Too little, too late. Let's move on to today's and finally, and you've no doubt seen this on Twitter already, Andy Murray. Shout out to Christopher95 Collins, who's been working hard on something over the weekend. Here it is. Andy Murray, the professional wrestler.
Oh, wow. I haven't actually seen this. Why am I in a British flag, though? Come on.
Hashtag push. At Andy H. Murray on the back of your shirt there.
That's quality. You've been very generous to my physique there. Thank you very much.
It looks great, that, doesn't it?
That's awesome. I actually read one of Christopher's tweets out on the news on Saturday. So thank you, legend of the channel. The Scottish flag, though.
Scottish flag, indeed. Team him up with Nikki Cross. And let us know who you'd like to see Andy Murray face in his first match on 2K.
Sami Callihan.
I thought when you did that, you were going to say the Miz's dad.
Big George. I reckon I could batter him.
Let us know who you want to see him face in the comment section below. And let us know your thoughts on all of today's news stories. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts and the news as a podcast. If you're out and about on the go, you can't pick it up on YouTube. It's out as a podcast as well. And we're going to be doing a Raw preview a little bit later on, so watch that on this channel. Or as a podcast a little bit later on. And you can send us Twitter questions at WhatCultureWWE. Watch there, follow both of us. He's got his name on the back of his wrestling shirt.
Andy H. Murray, the H stands for Hoopla.
You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. You can follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.